Hey, what's up? This is Sports Truth. I'm your host, Jordan Harris. So first, I gotta apologize about how this video came out a little bit late. The Miami Boston College game was a few days ago, but some of you may know that I own a few businesses. Like YouTube is my seventh business. I've got about 120 employees. Um, so I oversee those employees and those businesses on a daily basis. Um, and with the Thanksgiving holiday and the Thanksgiving break coming up, my family ended up giving all of the employees a lot of time off during that time, and I felt like it was probably a good idea for me to just chill out and relax for once. I've been running like crazy for the last few months, taking hardly any days off. I actually won the Kansas Business Person of the Year, Kansas Small Business Person of the Year. Went to the White House for that, met the president and all that stuff. So that was back in May, I think it was. Yeah, I can't think of a time that I slowed down before that or since that. So I felt like it was a good idea for me to take these last few days off, which I did to try to feel rested, get back into the groove of things tomorrow. But anyway, I know a lot of you have been down on the head coaches, well, not just the head coach, Mario Cristobal, but the offensive coordinator and everything at Miami. I'm hoping that this game relaxed that mentality a little bit because a lot of people were starting to call for the head coach's job and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, hey, y'all, relax. Maybe you forgot how bad it can really get. Maybe y'all forgot how bad it was when the Orange Tide was over there. So I'm hoping that this game against Boston College kind of calms some people down a little bit because some of the stuff I was seeing in the comment section, I'm like, bruh, relax, please. So let's do a real quick recap of this game. Real quick. The Hurricanes won 45-20, beat Boston College at Boston College. Tyler Van Dyke played very well. 23 for 36, 290 yards, 8.1 average on that with 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. The opposing quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, was 15 for 25 with 151 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Henry Parrish played today, which I was really happy to see. Had 11 carries for 111 yards. That is 10.1 yards per carry. Killed the game. He had 2 touchdowns. Also had a showing from A.J. Allen, which was cool to see. 9 carries, 68 yards. Mark Fletcher, who's been the lead back for the last few games, he had a decent game. 12 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. Okay, and then receiving, we'll talk about Xavier Restrepo. Had 6 receptions for 117. He played ridiculously well. Then we had Jacoby George, who apparently was suspended, which didn't know that, but for 6 receptions, 89 yards and a touchdown. Colby Young did really well. I love Colby Young, by the way. Big target. I like him quite a bit. But 3 receptions for 34 yards and a touchdown. All right, so that's all I want to talk about as far as the stats go. Now let's get into some of the topics that I want to cover today. All right, so I am going to be making like a season wrap-up video that will also talk about Miami's future, so I don't want to give away too much in this video about that. But I've been talking, if you've watched some of the videos that I've made in the past, I've talked about how I think this team has made so much progress over the last 3 years. So if you go back 3 years ago and compare that team to this team, I think there's crazy amounts of progress that we've been seeing, not just in the talent that we've been getting in from recruiting, but also just in the team mentality. I think it's been quite improved. So first, let's talk about Tyler Van Dyke. Tyler Van Dyke is like the best analogy I can give you is the analogy of ownership. We talked a little bit about how I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur. He reminds me of business ownership because I used to say I do some consulting now, help people get their businesses off the ground, right? So whenever I was speaking to people to get their business up and going, I used to say anybody can be a business owner. Anybody can be a successful business owner as long as you do this, and that. But what I've learned is that's not true. The thing that separates people who can run a business and the people who can't run a business is those people who can deal with the super high highs and the super low lows. That is what Tyler Van Dyke reminds me of. He reminds me of business ownership because he has the craziest high highs. And then whenever he's going through his low can be as low as you can possibly get. So That's the thing that's frustrating about him. He played an outstanding game. He was the good Tyler Van Dyke against Boston College. He was the good version. But we know like he can be just as bad as he can be excellent. He can be like 99 out of 100 good, where everybody's like, that dude's going to be a first round draft pick. But he can also be like a 5 on a level of 100, where you're like, that dude should not be in a Division One game. What are they doing? I really feel like if we had the good version of Tyler Van Dyke all season, I think we could have a possibility of being undefeated at this point. I think we would have beat all those 3 teams that we lost in a row. Like we lost to North Carolina, we could have beat North Carolina. Georgia Tech, we would have blown Georgia Tech out if this version of Tyler Van Dyke played against Georgia Tech. Florida State, if this version of Tyler Van Dyke played against Florida State, we would have beat Florida State. We barely lost to him anyway, starting a freshman quarterback. So the good version, I really believe we would be undefeated right now. And some of y'all think that's crazy, and that's cool. But I think we'd be undefeated right now. The bad version of Tyler Van Dyke, we would probably only have three wins right now. Like that's how bad, like that's how crazy high and low he can be. The good version, we're undefeated right now as far as I'm concerned. The bad version, we might have just 2 or 3 wins on the season because he is that good and that bad. But what I want to say to the coaches, Mr. Mario Cristobal, I love you, my man. I'm a big fan, a huge fan. Please don't be fooled by this performance. We've seen enough. We've had enough of Tyler Van Dyke. God bless him, but this game that's coming up needs to be the last one. This bowl game, give him a pat on the back, say thank you for everything you've done for the Canes, and send him on his way. Because my man is not, he's just not it, okay? So let's just call it what it is and move on from him. I think we've seen enough, okay? And like I said, I think he's probably a really good guy, but we can't have him. Can't have him on the team anymore. We got to move on from that. One of the things that I really do like about this Hurricanes team is our sense of pride. There was like the last few years, and I've said this before, the last few years when we would lose like the 3rd or 4th, no, let's say the 5th or 6th game to Florida State, we would lose the rest of them. We start 4-1, lose to Florida State, and end up 4-8. Like we just lose the rest of them. So I felt like we just were losing so much pride from then to, from that first loss to Florida State, any year you can think of, and then the rest of the season we just lose the rest. Now I feel like that pride is turning around. It feels like they're actually playing for more than just the record, right? Some of the games where it seems like we really don't have a lot to play for because it's like we're not going to get into the playoffs. We're not going to get a chance for the ACC championship. They had plenty of reasons to quit, like plenty of reasons. It was cold playing in Boston. It was early, like the game. I live in Kansas, and the game came on at 11 o'clock here. So I'm like, dang, that's super early, right? On a Friday as well. So Friday at 11 a.m. They had a lot of reasons to not show up and play that game. But they showed up and showed out, and I was proud of that. So that kind of stuff is what makes me say this coaching staff got their hands on the right pulse here. They're doing all right. We lost a lot of close games, but I believe next year those close games will, instead of being L's, they'll be W's. That's my thought process on it. Okay? Now let's talk about the offensive line that I saw against Boston College. Hell, the offensive line all year has been really good. But the offensive line that I saw against Boston College was outstanding. Tyler Van Dyke was able to just sit back there like a statue and go from read 1, 2, 3 back to read 1 if he wanted to. Like he had that much time. That offensive line was playing ridiculously well. I was proud to see that. Run blocking, I saw people running through people. Like Maui Noah is a freshman. He gets a lot of holding penalties, I know. I'm sure a lot of y'all are irritated about that because he gets a lot of holding penalties. But the dude is a monster. He's a beast, especially when he pulls and rolls out and is a lead blocker on like a toss play, a sweep. He is ridiculous. To be a freshman is crazy. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do when he's a sophomore, junior, and a senior. I can't imagine him playing football senior. I think he'll go and get drafted after his junior year, but we'll see. But the dude is a stud, though. He is ridiculous. That leads me into the other Maui Noah brother, so the linebacker. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know if y'all watch the NBA or not, but Giannis Antetokounmpo, Greek freak, he plays for the Bucks. He has a brother named, well, he's got a couple of brothers, but he's got one brother that plays on the Bucks named Thanasis Antetokounmpo. I don't like to talk bad about folks because I don't like to get personal, but he sucks. Like Thanasis is trash basketball. Like as far as an NBA player goes, he's trash can, right? And he plays for the Milwaukee Bucks along with the Greek Freak. So why is Thanasis on that team? Let's just be honest. The only reason why Thanasis is on an NBA roster is because his brother is Giannis, the MVP of the NBA. I thought I thought that getting Francis Marino was gonna be kind of a package deal like the Nasus came with Giannis. It was like, hey, if you want me on this team, you got to bring my little brother to play with me. I thought Maui Noah, the highly recruited offensive lineman, was just bringing in his older brother as like a package deal. So I was like, okay, if he wants to come play with his brother, cool. Let's just bring him on and have him on the team. Maybe he'll be good in the locker room. But this dude has been the surprise of the season for me. He is tackling everything that moves, like everything that moves. I He is very impressive to me. Very. He's the surprise of the season for me because I just thought he was a package deal, something that comes along with the burger. That's what I thought. He was something that comes along with what we really want. Just come on, man. Just to get your brother, we'll bring you along too. That's what I thought it was. But he has been a pleasant surprise, and I'm hoping y'all think the same thing. Henry Parrish, I mentioned him earlier when we talked about the stats. I was so happy to see him playing today and really happy to see him perform so well. He had 111 yards. The reason why I was so happy, I really felt bad for the dude because he transferred from a program as large as Ole Miss. And when you transfer from somewhere like that, you're not hoping to come in and be a backup running back. Your thoughts are going to, it's like, I'll come in here, I'll be the starter, I'll get, a couple of carries here, a couple of carries there. It's just, it hasn't, for whatever reason, it hasn't worked out for him, which is weird to me. And then we got Mark Fletcher, who came out of nowhere as a freshman. And he's just looking like Derrick Henry out there. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. So if you know anything about Wichita, that's where Barry Sanders is from. Barry Sanders is the pride of Wichita. So, it just made me like, I like small running backs who are quick and shifty. Mark Fletcher is a really big running back, so I'm always kind of turned off by him, but he's been a pleasant surprise as well. But anyway, back to Mark Fletcher. Back to Henry Parrish. I like the way the dude runs the ball. Like, he is undersized like crazy, but he runs so hard in between the tackles. When it comes to pass blocking, he is a small guy, but he puts his nose right in there and gets whatever he needs to get done. I like Henry Parrish a lot. And I hated to see him get so far down in the depth chart because there was a while where, like, Don Chaney passed him up and then Mark Fletcher passed. I was like, dang, this dude is third on the depth chart now. I hated to see that, especially knowing that he came from Ole Miss. He probably had high hopes of coming in here being a starter, catching a few passes out the backfield when needed to. I'm sure he expected to be the bell cow running back. So to see him drop all the way down to third string, I hated to see that. But thankfully, he did really well this past game. I'm hoping he gets to play in the bowl game and perform really well there, too, to get his draft stock up where it needs to be. Talk about Xavier Restrepo. He might be my favorite player on this team. No, he's not my favorite player, but he's one of my favorite players on this team. I love the dude's heart. Like, he runs routes like crazy. If there's a 3rd and 5 or a 3rd and 17, no matter what it is, it seems like the game plan is spread the field out, see if we can get Restrepo one-on-one with somebody and just let him dance out there and get open. He's going to catch it every time. He had a few catches that were some big-time catches in this game. I'm a huge fan of Restrepo. He played extremely well. Glad to see that. Play calling. So there was a play. First, I want to say, some of y'all have been killing the offensive coordinator, man. Let's ease off the offensive coordinator. like I've been saying, I've said it many times on this channel, he has been handicapped by his quarterback play. He had a freshman playing 2 games. You cannot just unload the entire playbook with a freshman. You can't do it. You wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. All right. He had a quarterback who was supposed to be lighting it up this year, who started off really good, and all of a sudden, he wants to throw the ball to the other team more than he wants to throw it to us. He's out there colorblind or something. I don't know. So, like with that, you can't really blame the dude. But this game, he seemed to get deep in his bag again. I think because he saw Tyler Van Dyke was playing really well. He got into his bag, and they had a real cool touchdown play to Jacoby George. I should have had that play ready to go for you. Apologize about that, but he had a play to Jacoby George where he ran in motion, and then he stopped once he got to, like, I think it was the tackle maybe. He ran in motion from the left side, he stopped, and then once they snapped the ball, he turned and ran back the other direction and caught a touchdown in the flat. Like that kind of stuff, we hadn't seen that all year. If we would have ran some of that stuff against Louisville or Florida State, it would have worked. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you, but it seemed like the play calling was back in motion this game. Please don't kill this man, this offensive coordinator. I think he's got what we need. I really do believe so. We just need a quarterback who's got enough mental stability to be able to manage that kind of stuff. All right. The next thing I want to talk about in this Boston College game that I was really happy about was the tackling. It seemed like we actually got hands on players and brought them down when we needed to. There were a couple of times where we did what I hate doing, which is whenever they run at the person with the ball like a torpedo and they just totally whiff on them. I'm more of a fan of knowing where your leverage is. Like if you're running at let's say if you're running at the guy who just caught a bubble screen and you've got 2 defensive players on your right side, I'm saying make sure that whoever has the ball does not get to this side of you. Do not let him get on this side of you. So I keep seeing people, they'll have 2 Miami Hurricanes defenders on this side and the guy with the ball is in front of him and they go running straight at him and dive at him, and then the guy just gets on the outside and takes off down the field. I say know where your leverage is. If you've got 2 defenders over here to help you, then jump all the way over on this side and make him go to where the other defenders are. So if you miss the tackle, at least you know that your teammates are going to get it. I saw that problem happen a couple of times this game, but overall, it seemed like this team tackled their butts off today, especially Francis. Maui Noah is all over the place. The next thing I want to talk about is the tight ends. We actually got some catches from the tight ends this game, but I don't know what's going on. Like, I always looked at Miami as tight end U, but for some reason this year, our tight end play has been trash. Like, it's like people can't, and we've had some really high recruits from tight ends these last couple years, like 4-star recruits that we've brought in that were tight ends. I don't know if it's just like the play calling is not designated for tight end. Even if the play call is not designated for tight ends, I've seen tight ends get open and just miss balls. Like, it's happened all year. I don't know if y'all have noticed that. If you have, please do leave that in the comment section and say, yeah, man, I have seen that too. Maybe I'm crazy, but I swear this year our tight end play has been like D-. Not even like C is bad. I would say D-, almost F for what our tight ends have produced this year. Thankfully, we got a couple of tight end passes caught this game. We also had one miss that I remember down the sideline. He just missed it. But they looked better than they had been previously, so that was nice to see. All right. Like I said earlier, I don't want to give too much away from the video that I'm going to be making in the future, which is going to talk about like a full wrap-up of this season, plus talk about what we can look forward to the next couple of years. But I do want to say that, like, this year, we ended the season on a good note, beating the brakes off of Boston College. So that's cool. We ended the year 7-5. In the conference, we were 3-5. I do expect for us next year to probably win 9. I'm leaning towards 10 games. And I know y'all probably maybe think I'm crazy. I don't know. That's cool. Maybe I am crazy. I think we'll win 10 games. If not 10, it'll be 9. I think we'll be on the outside looking in as far as the playoffs go. So I think we'll probably finish the year ranked 11, 12, something like that. So I think throughout the year we'll get some talk about meeting, some talk about potentially being in the playoffs. But I think we'll have a costly loss, like somewhere around week 8 or 9, that will drop us into the middle of the rankings, so 12, 13, something like that. And I think that's where we'll end up finishing the year, somewhere around there. And then I think the year after that, so that would be what, 25. So 2025, I think we will make the playoffs. So that's what I want to leave. I want to leave y'all with that today. Uh, I always appreciate you watching the videos. Uh, we do have a goal of meeting 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, December 31st. So with today being November 26th, we've got like 35 days. So help us meet that goal by sharing the video. Please do like the video, subscribe. The more that you like the video, the more that it's presented to other people so they can watch it and they can, subscribe as well. Once we do get 1,000 subscribers, I will be giving away $100. If you have any other ideas as far as things that we can give away, I'm more than happy to do that too. I'm just looking to grow this channel. I don't really care too much about the money side of things, like giving the money away. So if you have better ideas, let me know. I can do that too. I can make that happen. So as always, I appreciate the time. Thank you for watching the video. God bless. Take care. Peace.